What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Basement Monsters podcast. I'm Ivan Vargas, as always. My boy Luke Nettles, coming to you back. Once again, every Sunday. Like I said, every Sunday. Even though our game was on Thursday, we're still here talking football on Sunday. And let's go ahead and let's end it. I know it was a Bears victory in a Bucs loss, but let's just go ahead and wrap things up for Thursday. The Bears won 2019. It was a close game. Everything that we said it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was hard fought. It could have went either way. There was mistakes by both teams, but the Bears ended up squeaking it out at the end on a field goal. Winning winning on a clutch field goal,
which isn't the Bears' forte.
Exactly, which isn't their forte whatsoever since that Parkey incident. But yeah, go ahead, man. Just tell me. Let's wrap things up. Tell me about how you felt the Bucs ended that game, and we'll go from there.
It was anytime. I think they had something ridiculous, like 9 penalties for 106 yards or something like that. Anytime you're giving the other team 100 yards, it's hard to defeat that. I mean, you're not going to win. You're not going to overcome that, even if you got Brady. Not against a defense like the Bears. I feel like the Tampa could have done a few more things in the run game. It is what it was. It's two good teams going against each other. Somebody's got to win. Maybe who knows? Maybe they meet again in the playoffs. You never know.
You mentioned that at the end of the game when we were wrapping things up, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to see this a playoff.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
It felt like a playoff match.
For sure.
Both teams came in like we said they should have came in, thinking this was going to be an important game. Like I said, the mistakes were the mistakes. They left it out there. But just the way it went about the atmosphere, the way that we were watching it, felt like a playoff game.
All right.
It really did.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And, just some of the things, just that execution with the Bears. It was just all about execution for me. You gotta hit Mooney. You gotta know where your quarterback's gonna throw that corner route. You gotta know that that's where it's going. You gotta be over there by the sideline and not break off your route like that. Nick Foles, you gotta hit Allen Robinson wide open in the flat. Roquan Smith, you got to make tackles in the hole when you're 3 feet. I don't care what move was put on you. You got to make those tackles. The plays have to be made, period.
Yeah. That's across the NFL, man. You see that time and time again anymore nowadays. People are leading with the shoulder. Mm-hmm. And guys, I think guys are getting hip to that. They're taking the shoulder and they're just rolling off of it. It's not wrap-up football and not wrap-up tackles anymore. It's let me just blow the guy out, and we all know how that works in Madden.
Right, yeah.
You go to blow the guy out and he just spins and now he's gone 60 yards.
Yeah, so. and this ain't a video game. It's like this is a grown-ass man gonna bounce off you and go 60 yards downfield.
Right. So yeah, it's that's but that's what the league wants. The league wants points. Me personally, I'm not that kind of guy. I would like to see some defense. I prefer to see good defenses over good offenses. But that's the league. What are you going to do?
Ronald Jones II had 17 carries for 106 yards, 6.2 average, and they went away from it in the second half. I felt like they didn't go to it enough. I don't know if it was the Bears bottling them up or if it was that 14-point surge at the end of the first half that kind of scared the Bucs Arians and saying, hey, man, maybe we should just start airing it out to score points quick. But I think it was a mistake. It was a key mistake, and we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, it's huge. He was gashing them in the first half.
He was gashing
them in the first half. So for them to pull that off, and say, hey, okay, well, now we're going to let Brady beat you. Here's the other thing about Tampa. Tampa Bay is it's the worst possible scenario for Tampa because Tom's coming in, learning a new playbook. Mm-hmm. Receivers have to, learn Tom, but every week they're missing one or two receivers. So it's not everybody is on the field at the same time. So there's not that team gelling that's going on because in any given week, somebody else is down. So all the starters together not being there for all these first 4 games, it's wreaking havoc. I feel like.
And Tom had a plethora of receivers. A bunch of guys have over three receptions. I'll just give you the top 4. Tyler Johnson led them with 64 receptions, 61 yards. Then the next guy was Rob Gronkowski, 3 for 52. Then it was Cameron Brate, 5 for 44. Then Mike Evans, 5 for 41. They didn't have Godwin, and they went to Evans 5 times, 9. They targeted him 9 times. He caught the ball 5 times for a touchdown, but I felt like that wasn't enough. Mike Evans needed a big game in order to beat the Bears on Thursday, and it would have been a lot different story if Godwin was in there, because then you think Godwin could,
well, you got to cover.
He would definitely add to that, and you have to cover him.
You got to cover him.
Right, exactly. So you have to make sure a safety's on him so he doesn't go, running free down the middle of the field, or you know what I mean. But that's another a weapon that Tom doesn't have.
The stat that jumps off, the stat that doesn't jump off that you read is, and I know he was a little bit injured, so who knows? Maybe he was feeling it a little bit more than they let on. Mm-hmm. But not one pass, not one reception by Scotty Miller whatsoever.
No, none.
Which is another thing. So I know maybe he would, I know he was questionable leading up to it, but maybe he's thought he could go and didn't really go. But yeah, Scotty Miller, especially if Godwin's out, you got to have that second guy, even if it is a short dink and dunk guy. You got to be able to move those sticks, and if you're not going to run, then you at least got to start hitting the guy 5 yards deep or something.
Oh, at least, and the Bears rushing attack didn't do. It was abysmal. 10 carries, 29 yards.
Front seven.
It's a great front seven. They ran into 2 great front sevens back-to-back weeks. Well, within the same week, but technically back-to-back weeks. And, it's frustrating that running game in these past couple weeks it has not been there. It's, you're waiting for it to get going. You've been waiting. The first 3 games, it were subpar teams compared to the Colts.
Right.
And
everybody's subpar compared to the Colts.
Right. The Colts and the Bucs, but you still gotta find a way to get those rushing yards. Yeah, to get those rushing yards. And it's like I said, I said it about the defensive line and also the offensive line going into this week. It's all about will. It's all about who wants it more, and are you going to look at yourself in the mirror and just say, all right, I'm satisfied with what I did, or you want more out of yourself? You have to dig deep in this situation because you're getting blown up. A lot of the times they're getting blown. There's still times against the Bucs where the offensive line is just getting moved out of the way.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for the Bears rushing attack is I think you're starting to see now just a little bit more of how much Tariq Cohen means to that offense. Because Montgomery is not the guy that's going to beat everybody to the sideline, like if it's a pitch or something like that.
He doesn't have great speed.
Tariq has that burst where he can outrun that linebacker to that sideline and get upfield. So I think that's a huge part of the Bears rushing attack that they're missing. Like I said, he just offers so much more, And like I said, we've been talking about this for almost 2 years now. Put Tariq Cohen out as a receiver, let a linebacker cover him, and see that man coverage. And and even if you don't throw it to him, at least they have to cover him, and it's another guy that's going to be blocked, and it's another way for Montgomery to get down the field. So
Sylvester Joyce, Sly Dog says, "Can they please cut Leno?" Yeah, I wish they could cut his ass.
I think everybody.
He's soft as shit. He's the softest lineman we have. He gets more there was, and I was watching replays of the Colts and the Bucs here. How many we came back here?
Yeah,
and we went ahead and watched the game again.
Yeah.
That same night on Thursday. But I also watched the Colts, and I could just see Leno just in the air. He's off his feet. He's getting moved off his feet. The man's getting blown up. You know what I'm saying? Time and time again, and it's frustrating. And I think that has a lot to do with the lack of a rushing attack in these past couple weeks. It's like, man, this dude
can't run off that side.
You can't run off that side. You can't. You need to put a tight end out there to help him out with the pass rush.
Yeah,
you need to do a lot with Charles Leno Jr. And you gave him a contract for what? For what?
To suit up.
You gave him a contract because you said, oh man, he looked good because he was masked by a great defense. So was that entire offense in 2018 was masked. Their flaws were masked by a great defense. The defense would just put them in position to succeed time and time again or score on their own. Yeah. They didn't need the offense to score. So it's it could be easily misconstrued that the guy had a great season when he was, the whole offense was protected.
Well, yeah, that kind of, I could see a little bit of that also going back to the Tariq Cohen thing. Tariq Cohen's so fast and quick, you don't have to block for that long.
No,
because he's boom, he gets the ball and bam, you can set your block just one little stick and he's going to be around the guy. Mm-hmm. Now that you have somebody else that needs to be more of like a kind of like a juker, one cutter guy, and you have to sustain that block for a little bit longer. Right. He's just not built for it.
Cordero Patterson had there was a couple questionable runs in that Colts game, especially on third down, where he's a receiver. He wants to bounce. Like that's the whole thing. He's running. Like
he see the open field.
He could run. Like, don't get me wrong. I would like to put him in a running back position, but when it comes down to it, he doesn't have a running back mentality, and he has to develop that.
Well,
he has to develop that if he wants to continue to play that position.
Right.
But last game against the Bucs, he found that he did what he had to do. He cut back one cut and put his head down and got the yardage he needed to a couple of times. One for a first down that I could recall. But you need to find a balance. There needs to be another running back in there. You need to know is Artavius Pierce going to be the guy? I know he's coming out of the
Lamar
practice.
Miller,
Is Ryan Naw? Is Lamar Miller? When's Lamar Miller going to come? I hope he's coming out against the Panthers, because a third running back,
which would be a great game for him to start, because
exactly.
The Panthers' defense isn't all that great. So what better time to get the guy acclimated than against a team that doesn't stop the run very well?
Exactly.
Be a perfect time.
All right, let's wrap that. Like I said, Bears won. I mean, there are flaws on both teams. They still got to work on shit.
There may be a round two.
And I hope there is. And it shouldn't. The Bucs shouldn't be like. I know you're upset with the loss, but the Bucs are right. The Bucs are still a good team, and they're going to get healthy.
Yeah.
So we're going to see them the Buccaneers down the line get healthier. We're going to see the Bears become more acclimated to, like, Nagy's gonna get more acclimated to Nick Foles.
Vice versa.
The Bears defense is gonna settle in, and maybe they start to find their identity. Both teams start to find their identity moving forward. But we're gonna go ahead and let's jump in. You're gonna take it over. Chiefs Raiders, first game of the day. Chiefs Raiders, first game. We're gonna go ahead and break down and talk to you and get to you guys at halftime and in the post about Raiders Chiefs, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be should be good. I mean, it's a huge rivalry game in that division. These two people, they do not like each other, boy. They do not like each other. But and it's historic. There's been great battles between those two teams. I mean, you got to look at Carr. He's I think he's thrown 8 or 9 touchdowns, no interceptions so far.
Derek Carr last week. I'll just give you the last week's stats. They lost to the Buffalo Bills 30-23, but it was a good game.
They were in it.
It was a good game. They were in it. Derek Carr, 32-44, 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Looks like he spread the ball around well. Waller, who was struggling in the first half of that game, ended up with 9 receptions for 88 yards because he's a goon.
Yeah, he needs to be huge today though.
Because he's a damn monster.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But the Raiders have in back-to-back weeks. I think they lost the Patriots and Bills. I mean, you can't. Okay, you lose to the Patriots and the Bills. You can't.
In Foxborough,
and you lose to the Bills. I mean, the Bills are a good team.
Well, Josh Allen
is on fire.
He's playing outside of his dome, man. Like that,
Josh Allen
on another level right now.
Josh Allen at 24-34, 288, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, they pretty much went blow for blow at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
So it's like the Raiders are in 2-2, but the Raiders aren't a bad team either. I mean, and if the Chiefs take the Raiders lightly,
they're in trouble.
They're in trouble. What I'd like to see is a lot more Josh Jacobs today. A lot of Josh Jacobs today.
A lot of Josh Jacobs, a lot of Waller. And I know he's questionable, but I'd like to see Ruggs pull a Tyreek today. I'd like to see Ruggs just go. That's all you got to do, because that dude is fast, maybe even faster than Tyreek, or at least the same speed. Both of them are burners. But I'd like to see them, and then I feel like they also, with Waller, Jacobs, I'd like to see Ruggs stretch, but then I'd also like to see a little more Hunter Renfrow come underneath. And, he doesn't have to kill you deep.
They love that guy, Hunter Renfrow. They love him in Vegas. Las Vegas.
Just keep him, that 10 to 15 yard range. Let him be underneath the coverage, and hit him. And he doesn't have to do anything spectacular, but he gives you that threat of, you got Waller, bending out. You got Renfrow coming in, and then you got Ruggs going deep on the outside.
Right, you got threats everywhere.
So you got options. And the defense is going to have to stretch. Because I still don't think that. I mean, as much as I like Kansas City, I still don't think that they're
looking
secondary.
I
don't think their secondary is all that. I think
honestly, I think the offense is still good. It's still the best offense in the league.
It got better,
but it got better-ish. Like the running game has been bottled up. The running game's been bottled up the past couple weeks.
Yeah,
Edwards Hilaire has not been. But you're right. It don't take much. They're undefeated.
Right.
But that defense could be a huge problem.
Better,
It was a question last year: is the defense going to hold up?
See, that's the problem. Like teams like Chicago, and obviously we're seeing Tampa. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there like that are good. But when you're playing Kansas City, can you match them point for point? That's your biggest problem. at this point right now, I would say Buffalo is the matchup because I feel like Josh Allen could it'd be one touchdown. I mean, it could go touchdown city every drive.
Yeah, right.
But that's the thing when you play Kansas City. Can you generate points? And I'm not talking field goals. I'm talking touchdowns. Because if you're not talking touchdowns against Patrick Mahomes, you're in a world of hurt. And that's what it's going to come down to. And I feel like the biggest thing about Kansas City is you have to score in that red zone. You have to get in that red zone and you have to put up those points, man. But Kansas City, like I said, they're one of the best offenses. They get a great running back out of the draft. Like the last thing they needed, everybody in the division was probably like, oh my God.
Right.
Like now we got to do this too. So, I look for Kansas City to win, but I'm also looking for Waller to have a big game.
Waller's going to go off.
I think he's going to have a big game. And I hope Ruggs does too, but he's questionable, so we'll see.
And I think Waller. I think this is the year that Waller threatens the top two tight ends in Kelsey and Kittle for that number one spot because I mean for number one or number two because Waller is a monster. If you don't know who Darren Waller is, go find out because the guys probably the top three tight ends are him, Kelsey, and Kittle. Yeah. Like easy. We're gonna go ahead and switch over to our second game, our last game we're gonna cover. Browns and Colts. We know who the Colts are. We saw the Bears took a shot to the mouth against the Colts on this past Sunday, and it was frustrating to say the least. That they have only one loss, and that's to Jacksonville in the first game. Sound. They play sound, and they only lost by 7. They only lost by a touchdown in that first game, but they play sound defense. They fly to the ball. Their quarterback doesn't make many mistakes. Yeah, they have a solid running game. You'll see who the if you haven't seen the Colts and you just kind of been I kind of know who the Colts are. These aren't your daddy's Colts. No, these aren't Peyton Manning's Colts. They got a defense. Yeah, they have a very very good defense.
That could shut you down. I'm talking 2-3 guys on the tackle every tackle. They're on the ball. Crazy. On the ball. And they know how to move. So when one guy goes out, the next guy drops down. Whatever it is, it's like it seems like. Whenever they move their coverage to take a guy out of his position, there's another guy to fill his spot as he's doing it. So I mean,
discipline. They play discipline defense. They play discipline, angry, fly to the ball defense. That's what they play. They play. Yeah. Like I said, I said it before. They came into Chicago, played Chicago Bears defense against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They can stifle you in pass game or run game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Colts are great. Phillip Rivers isn't putting up gaudy numbers. Who gives a shit? He doesn't have to when you got a defense and a running game like that. You're gonna get wins. Yeah, and that's the name of the game. Get wins. They go going against the Cleveland Browns, dude. Cleveland is surprising, but I'll say this: Cleveland reminds me of the Bears and the Bucs. Let's say that. Right. They play a couple. All right, they played the Ravens. I'll give them that loss. I'll give them that loss to open the season. Then they played the Bengals and the Redskins. Excuse me, the Washington football team. Pardon me. I'll punish myself later for that. So they play the Redskins and again the Washington football team, and they they blow them out. But then they also play the Bengals and they squeak it out 30-35, 35-30. Then they come back and they almost give it away to Dallas. Yeah. They were. I mean, honestly, they were kicking Dallas's ass. Yeah, they were putting it to Dallas.
They were taking off.
They were putting it to Dallas, and then Dallas. I'm gonna give them credit. They've done it. They've done it a couple times this year already. Once to the Falcons, and they tried to do it to the Browns and come back. But they allowed 38 points after being. They allowed 38 points to Cleveland Browns. Right. So it's like. It's like, who are the Browns? We're going to find out today if they're
who are the Browns and who is Dallas's defense.
Exactly, that's true. But who are the Browns as far? I know their running game's good. I know they're down Chubb.
Yeah, they're down Chubb.
They're down Chubb, but you got a Kareem Hunt,
which could start for any other team in the NFL
He could start for anybody in the league right now. Anybody. So you're blessed in a sense that you have that, but the leading rusher in that game wasn't even Kareem Hunt. It was Ernest Johnson. Yeah. Ernest Johnson had 13 carries for 95 yards. Right. So if you're telling me that you lost to Chubb, but you had a Ernest Johnson who was waiting in the wings and hungry,
a sleeper back there,
you got a dark horse, you're A-okay in my opinion. But
especially against Dallas's defense.
Exactly. But in this game for the Cleveland Browns, I want to see if that offensive line versus that Colts defensive line and see if they could generate the amount of rushing yards that they've been the past couple weeks. Because if they don't, and you put the game in Baker's hands, it's going to be a big problem.
Well, yeah. I mean, another thing for Dallas is Michael Gallup was a stud last year. This year, man, he hasn't done much at all. Like, it's just like gone. Like, I don't know if they just forgot about him since they got CD Lamb. Amari Cooper comes in a couple here, there, a couple there, whatever. But like Gallup, man, I just don't know what's up with that guy. But I'll tell you another guy in this game. I'll tell you somebody to watch and watch good.
Which one?
It's Schultz, the tight end Schultz. Watch him in the red zone. I bet you he puts up 2 touchdowns today.
For what team?
For Dallas.
For Dallas?
Yeah, I bet you he puts up 2 touchdowns today. He's in the red zone. That guy. The
New York Giants. The New York Giants has a decent defense. They don't have a bad defense. We saw them against the Bears. Their defense was good. I mean, it wasn't bad. Their offense is the problem.
Well, the other thing was Mitch was playing.
And Mitch was playing. But also, you got to think that the Cowboys passing it to the Cowboys smell blood. Like the Cowboys they need a win. They need a win.
They need a gut check.
They need a gut check. And I feel like the Dallas Cowboys can go in here and blow out the New York Giants. I think that they even with how bad, like poorly they've been playing, they've been in every game. They've been in the games. They've been there. If they would correct some of their mistakes, they'd win. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for them to go right at the Giants' throat this game. So Schultz very well might have a big game.
I'm saying I think Schultz Cowboys game will have a good game, especially against his Giants defense. And another guy that I'm looking to, like, I feel like he doesn't use enough. Like I would say he's probably top 5, but you got like Evan Ingram. Like Evan Ingram needs to come on too. Like I don't know what your plan is there with Slayton and Shepard, but like you need to get Evan Ingram going quick, especially since you don't have the run game. You need to get that guy going. Okay, you got Devontae Freeman. We'll see.
Devontae Freeman's not the Devontae Freeman that he was in Atlanta. He's not running like he was in Atlanta. So I'm not worried about Devontae.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm saying they needed it.
They needed to add somebody, and hopefully it works. But I'm not putting my money on Devontae Freeman.
No, definitely not on my DraftKings roster.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah. How's that going?
It's going, we're plugging along. I was close last week. I was close to some big money.
I thought you were going to win some money last week.
I was pretty close, big money last week.
For about like 5 minutes, we were jumping around, and then it just kind of went downhill from there.
Chubb got hurt.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Chubb got hurt. That was a wrap. And I was like, man, that's right. That was the only thing.
Chubby got hurt, and that was a wrap for the
if Chubb would have stayed in and got that W, man, woo, I'd have been paid.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to watch some of these football games. Like I said, we're going to be talking Raiders and Chiefs and also Colts and Browns coming up to you guys in both segments shortly.
Yeah.
Enjoy the games, guys. We'll get back to you at the halftime. I'm Ivan Vargas. This is Luke Nettles. This has been the Basement Monsters podcast on Sports Zone Chicago.
I just heard my favorite band is in town. I'd love to get good seats, but everywhere I've looked, the ticket sites have crazy service fees.
Haven't you heard of TixSplits?
Who?
TixSplits. They don't gouge you with crazy fees. The price they advertise is the price you pay, plus a small delivery fee.
Never pay service fees again. Go to TixSplits.com today. TixSplits.com. Guaranteed seats, low prices. That's TixSplits.com. Every ticket, every venue, everywhere.